Why does the advertising model in social media destabilize society? Now, I think the answer to this question has something to do with the fact that on social media, we are the product. We are not the customer, we are the product. And in a competitive economic environment, companies are incentivized to improve the quality of their product over time. And so what would that look like for social media to improve us and to improve our eyeballs and our time on platform and our clicks as a product? Now, we need to acknowledge that we were the product in the 20th century as well. If you look at advertising models from back then, advertising on television and in magazines and such, we were still the product. The advertiser was still the real customer. So what is the difference? And to think that through, I think I'd like to set up a few different characters. So we're going to have the social media business person. This is just the manager of the social media company who is trying to sell advertisements to advertisers. And then, the second character is the advertisers who are buying the products. And we might imagine a little auction going on where the social media manager says, I have 5 minutes of this group of people's time. I'll sell it to the highest bidder. And these advertisers, they have to auction against each other and sort of that bids up the price. That's one way we might think about it. Now, of course, we are the product. We're the eyeballs. We're the clicks that are being sold. We are behind that 5 minutes of time of advertising time. Now, the last character here is going to be the robot. And this is the way I like to talk about algorithms. I kind of personify them because that's a little bit fun. So the algorithm is basically the assistant to the social media manager, that salesperson. And the robot does whatever the salesperson says, tells the robot to do. But the robot is actually kind of creative. The robot is really good at processing data. It has ways of sort of testing out different ways of achieving the objectives of the social media manager. And the social media manager is going to feed that robot data. And what kind of data does that include? Well, that data includes the selling price of any given group of people's eyeballs. And obviously it includes everybody's, clicking habits, everybody's viewing habits. It includes lots of data that's sort of behind the scenes on social media. That's what the algorithm, the robot, has to work with. Now, I think it's helpful to know what goes on between the social media salesperson and the advertisers. Because when advertisers go to social media companies wanting to show an ad, there are lots of different options on how to target your audience. For example, if you sell hiking boots, you can say, I would like this advertisement to play only for people who are likely to buy hiking boots in the next 6 months. Now, if that seems ridiculously specific, and you're asking the question, how do social media companies even know a question like that? Well, obviously, social media companies have these detailed statistical profiles on people, but they can also tell, what do you look up? Do you look up best hiking boots? And if you've Googled best hiking boots in the past 3 months, then maybe you're kind of likely to buy hiking boots pretty soon. Or if they have a video that compares 2 different types of hiking boots and you watched that video all the way through, then it's a pretty decent bet that you're likely to buy hiking boots sometime soon. So social media companies have ways of sort of coming up with what is a demographic that you're in that might be good to sell to advertisers. And that's their relationship. Okay, let me get back to the point. So the thing that I'm worried about here is that the social media manager wants to improve the quality of the product, which of course is measured by the selling price of your eyeballs. The manager just wants to drive up that auction price to sell off 1 click from you or 1 minute of your eyeball time. Now, there are going to be some different strategies of doing this. And one of the strategies that's most innocent, I think, is just matching the advertisement better to the person. And that is actually a good thing. I don't have any problem with that going on. Maybe it's good for you to see an advertisement for hiking boots if you're interested in hiking boots. And by better matching the ad to you, it's sort of a win-win situation for everybody on the scene. The worry is that the algorithm is going to figure out how to improve the quality of the product, that is you, by changing you, by changing who you are. And of course, if you can influence what someone's paying attention to, what sorts of things they think about, who they socialize with, if you can influence all that, if you can influence their perception of their social reality, can you slowly shift who they are as a person? And of course, one of the things with advertisers is that you might be more vulnerable to advertising if you are insecure. So you might imagine two types of social media users. One of them is super confident, they feel good about themselves, that they're fulfilled with their lives, they like their relationships, they're okay with their body, they don't think that much about body issues. That person, if you show them advertisements for face cream or for a fancy new car, will that person click on the advertisement? Well, that product may not do that much for them. But if you look at a second person who's very insecure, who's constantly worried about the way they look, who's constantly worried that about their social status, about people judging them, about that they don't have enough in life, that person is way more vulnerable to face cream advertisements. And if someone is really insecure about their status relative to other people, they may be more vulnerable to like the fancy red car advertisements than someone who feels okay with their status in the world. So the fact that if we are more insecure, that could drive up the price of our eyeballs, the selling price of our eyeballs. That is the big worry with the advertising model and social media. Now, I'd like to do one little extra thought experiment with these characters, and that is I would like to compare a smart robot and a dumb robot. And of course, in this case, the dumb robot is going to be the good robot, the smart robot is going to be the bad robot. And to remind you, the robots in this case represent the social media algorithms. It represents the decisions made by the algorithms about what kind of content to feed you, what kind of things to show you, what kind of things to hide from you. All of those kinds of decisions often get made automatically by these robots. So the dumb robot represents the way I think a lot of people think about social media algorithms. And there's some truth in this, but it's not the whole truth, which is that the social media algorithms simply show us more of what we like. Like if we click on it, it gives us more of it. If we don't click on it, it gives us less of it. And that would be a dumb social media algorithm. And when people say that the algorithms don't matter, what matters is the human behavior, there's some truth in this because, of course, our behavior is sort of the feedback loop with these robots. But if that's the only thing going on, the robots are basically leaving money on the table. They're not improving the quality of their product as much as they could. So how does the smart robot compare to the dumb robot? Dumb robot gives us more of what we like, more of what we click on. The smart robot sort of gives us more of what we like. It definitely wants us to keep coming back. But it also makes some adjustments around the edges. And those adjustments around the edges sort of steer us toward content that will make us more insecure. So here's how this might happen. You might imagine there's a cluster of videos on YouTube that are likely to stoke people's insecurities. And one of them, an example I use a lot, is the flubby arm video, the video that seems empowering. It's sort of how do you get rid of arm flub, and it has diet and exercise advice. But of course, if you click on those videos, they're also full of people talking about how important arm flab is and how much people will judge you if you have arm flab. And in addition to empowering us, they also stoke insecurities. Another type of video in this insecurity stoking cluster is videos for men about how women care a lot about status and you're never going to get a girlfriend or a wife if you don't have a really high status in society. And of course, if men watch those videos, those are going to be super disempowering, but they're also going to sort of stoke insecurities where regular men with good jobs who are nice, decent men are going to be thinking, oh man, why even try to get a girlfriend? They only care about status, that kind of thing. So those are two types of videos that stoke insecurity. The smart robot might notice that people who go to those insecurity-inducing videos very often, those people have a higher price per minute of their eyeballs or per click on an advertisement than people who never click on those insecurity-inducing videos. And the algorithms can probably figure this out in a number of ways because the algorithms, of course, they just analyze a lot of data. So they might notice, ooh, we're getting a really great selling price on products in months when people who are channeling through these insecurity-inducing videos also want hiking boots. And I won't go more into that. You can sort of think of it on your own. If you ask the question, what would the back-end data look like where the robot might notice that, ooh, this might be a potential avenue for increasing revenues? The point is, once the robot has noticed that, it might want to try to channel people toward those insecurity-inducing videos. And the algorithms, I think, have likely figured out some strategies to channel people towards videos that will make the people more lucrative. For example, maybe the algorithm has noticed that on Saturday mornings, you're sort of in a brain fog and you'll just click on anything interesting, you're kind of acting instinctive, you just want to waste time. So the algorithm might show you a bunch of semi-boring videos alongside this one insecurity-inducing video that it would like you to click on. And that's going to increase the chances that you click on it. And with a lot of these videos, clicking on one video sort of gets you in the cycle and in the habit of clicking on videos like that. So if the algorithm can just show some of these insecurity-inducing videos more often, or at more strategic times, or at a higher rate, then they can probably subtly influence, slowly over time, your preferences for videos or pieces of content that you prefer. So, summarizing the difference between the smart robot and the dumb robot, they both have strategies to give you more of what you like, to get you to come back and spend more time on platform. But the smart robot is not just doing that. It's not just trying to optimize how often you come back. It's also trying to optimize the selling price of your eyeballs by mixing in more insecurity-inducing videos. And at this point, if you're like, that's way too complicated, those robots are not smart enough to figure that out, well, my response to that would be, we actually don't know what the robots are doing. This is the black box problem in artificial intelligence, where the managers of the social media companies give the robot a goal. Maximize clicks, maximize time on platform, maximize, perhaps, selling price of people's eyeballs. And if the algorithms are given that goal, then the managers have no idea the ways the algorithms are analyzing data to achieve that goal. So I'm proposing here that this could be one mechanism that these robots use to change the quality of their product, improve the quality of their product, and that product is you.